And so I want to take you on the journey of how I started setting things in my life, and where it has brought me, the kind of results I've gotten, and the things I failed at, and the times I gave up, right? So I remembered sometime in 2004, I was fresh out of school and I was brewing with ideas. And I wanted to just do something for my world. I wanted to make a difference in my world. And I was thinking, what can I do at that time? And my junior sister, she was just a teenager. She was just coming to become a teenager. And then she was in school at that time, and she was in a girls' school, and I was just so fascinated about this idea I have about gathering teenagers and making them to be successful, getting to share what I have learned. I was just fresh out of secondary school, and the plan was actually to get to talk to teenagers in different secondary schools in Jos at that time, and I went to my sister's school. So when I got there, of course, we had some sort of a relationship with our principal then, and I was like, okay, we are going to leverage on that. But the principal was not around, so I met the vice principal, and I told her about my idea and everything. And then the woman went, go to university first, then come back. I was distraught because in my head I was like, oh my god, I gave up, like straight up. When you go to somewhere and you just gave up, like this thing is not for me. Let me just go and chill. And before then, I'd already started graduating teenagers in my neighborhood. Began to share a lot of insight, began to bless each other's lives. The name of the organization was actually Teens World, and the plan was actually just to bring teenagers to a place of equalization that I was, in terms of the knowledge I have already. I haven't gone through secondary school, I haven't read a lot of books, and I also felt that was important to bless my world with it. And so I gave up. To be honest, I gave up on that goal. I gave up on that dream because in my head I felt, so I need to get to university first before I could make any meaning in my life or in my world. And so I moved on. I got into university. That was even 4 years later. And 3 years later, yes, in 2007. So I got into university, and the same way, because I always find it fascinating to start new things. I've never been that kind of person that I just like to stay in one place. I want to start something new. I want to do something new. There's always one idea that is coming to my head, one way or the other, And backstory, I'll say that story. And so I was just in uni, and in 2010, I was opportunity to go to an event that was a youth event that was organized by the Catholic Cathedral in Abuja, and I spoke about change, and that was the first time I was going to be speaking, crying out loud. The ground almost swallowed me, I was swallowed by the ground. I think I was really swallowed by the ground, and because I was so afraid. But then that was also a period when Barack Obama became America's president, and the theme of their campaign then was change, So I was just like fascinated, and then that was how an organization I started called Youth for Change came to limelight. And it was like, all these things I didn't even know that they used to register NGO. I was just catching trips, just catching fun. And so I just kept on at it. People knew me for Youth for Change, People knew me for Youth for Change and all of that. I was so fascinated by it. I really wanted to pursue it. I was like, change. Until Buhari came to scatter the change. And so, when Buhari now came in and they were like, change, and people were like, is this the change you asked for? I said, I cannot come and be saying I'm Youth for Change again. So I stopped being Youth for Change. I literally stopped it. And it was the Youth for Change was an opportunity for me to meet young people in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania at the time. In fact, I have a friend that's a couple of my friends that said, hey, you know what? Let us start Youth for Change Kenya. Even if you go to Facebook right now and type Youth for Change Kenya, Y4C Kenya, you're going to see Youth for Change Kenya. And I am an admin on that page. And so it was just really fascinating that we could start something, because we just wanted to bring change. But even we didn't even understand what change was until Buhari came and showed us one kind of change, and then fear catch me. So that was it for Youth for Change. And I said I was going to give a backstory. And so there was a time I just, of course, after I tried things, but it wasn't working out. And I was close to university at that time. I was close to getting to university in 2007. And so there was this particular platform called DVC. So what they do is they get ideas from the world, and then they get to help you implement that idea. They turn it to products, and then you sell it, and then you get a cut. And so they needed me to raise certain money, and I went to tell my mom. I said, "Mommy, you know what? I want to be making pancakes, or pancakes that off the shelf. People can take I didn't even know that you can even do the powder mix and put it on shelf and people will buy it. I was just like, do the original pancake, preserve it, people will come and be buying it." And so I was telling my mom was like, "You know what? Go to university first." I say, no, wait. University again, kilo day. Somebody has an idea. Let us even try it now. And so that was just I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because everything was like, until you go to university then you can succeed. Until you go to university then this idea can fly. Until you get to university anybody can listen to you. Until you get to university. So it was more like, even though I wasn't really crazy about being in the four walls of the university at that time, but I felt it was a leap I needed in my life to get to my next step. And so back to our story. So after Youth for Change, I ensured that whatever it is I was starting, whatever it is I'm doing, that it has to be something I really want to finish. I find out that I wasn't more of a finisher in that sense. I realized that I was more of an idealist. And I remember the conversation I had with my cousin in 2015 when he came to meet me in Lagos when I was serving. And he said, I feel you're an idealist. Because every time I come up with ideas. Like, if the traffic light is not working, I can say this is what they can do to make it. I can come up with any ideas like blah 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 blah. And then I realized I needed to do something about it. And it was it's either I find someone that is good at executing, or I try to teach myself to be an executioner, right? It wasn't easy. Because after I was done with youth service, I teamed up with a couple of young people to start up a company. And the idea was, since I was an idealist, they could help me execute. But that wasn't able to get off the ground because I was like, at the end of the day, it was just me, that had to run things. And so, because I had to run things, one of the things I now needed to do was to actually learn how to execute projects, how to execute different things I needed to do, because nobody was looking out for me anymore, not even my partners at that time. And so, after 9 weeks, way down the line in 2019, on 2020, when COVID hit, I just woke up one morning and I was like, leaving Nigeria. And in my head I was like, which one is leaving Nigeria again? I'm not even a fan of Jackpot, And then I went to meet my cousin. I was like, guy, I also saw something, like I just woke up and leaving Nigeria just popped inside my head. And I was like, okay, let me just go and create Facebook page, just to like throw people that want to jackpot. All of us can't jackpot. We have to make this country work. So I just went to open it. And so I opened Facebook, I opened Twitter, I opened Instagram. And so Living Nigeria started, and it started just like a day, like bam, open those accounts. And the entire idea was, all of us can't leave this country. Some of us that are still here, we have to make it work. If you like, even if they bring plane from abroad, that all of us should enter, it will not contain us. So I was like, you know what? Let's make this country work. And so Living Nigeria started in that sense. And way down the line, I joined a session by DDK, that is Debola Dejikurumi, and it was called during that the whole COVID pandemic period, and it was called the Activation Intense program. And when I joined that program, that was one of the things I learned was the fact that I should put a deadline to whatever project I have. And because then when I opened Live in Nigeria, I opened a domain name for Live in Nigeria, but I didn't get an hosting account for it at that time because I was thinking of a website, yeah. And so I did that, and I put a time frame to it. Then I'd already, because during the pandemic, I made a lot of friends. I joined a lot of programs, and I met a lot of people. I built a lot of new relationships and all of that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let us put this to work. Since I just learned something, let me put it to practice. And I put a deadline and say, Live in Nigeria website is going to launch as so day. I put it out there, tell everybody that Live in Nigeria is going to launch like this time. And I was building the website because, of course, since you've been hearing me since, you know that I'm a web developer, right? So I was building the website gradually. I was looking for content. I was doing all of that all by myself. And Live in Nigeria became a website. And the idea of the website was now, it was no more, okay, trolling. It was more like just finding a balance. It was more like, okay, now people need opportunities. People need opportunities for study. People need opportunities for work. People need to know where they should travel to. People need to get travel information. People need to know new procedures when it comes to visa application. So we're like, okay, we can be that channel for people to be able to access this information. And so that was how Live in Nigeria started, and we're still growing. In fact, one of the biggest breakthrough for Live in Nigeria for me was when we did a particular article that I had to ask for permission from Mr. Fola on Twitter. That was after the EndSARS protest, and he wrote an article on 32 ways to leave Nigeria, and we asked for permission to put that on our platform, and that has so far been our biggest article so far, because a lot of people get to find us through Google after that article, and that was a blessing. And so I really deserve to be sending royalties to Mr. Fola when we begin to make money. You know, for me, that was our greatest success story at Live in Nigeria that made even the outside world begin to know about us. I see people click on Live in Nigeria from the United States, from Canada, from every part of the world, and for me, it's a big deal. And so after Live in Nigeria, I then started Strictly Masculine. That was in the wake of, that men are not doing enough. Men had been out of abusive parental relationships, from dysfunctional family, and they didn't know how to be. And we felt that living Strictly Masculine was an opportunity for us to share the essence of true manhood to all the men in our circle. And that was how Strictly Masculine started, and also to create a vulnerable place for men to share their deepest struggles. And that was Strictly Masculine. And we studied a newsletter. People were joining in, and of course, because you're having, I would share about how I'm able to juggle all of this. I would say I'm not good at juggling all of this. If I'm focusing on one thing at a time, I focus on one thing. And so after Strictly Masculine, I now started Love and Bands. Love and Bands was more like, in our world right now, bad news spreads faster than good news. So the idea of Love and Bands is to show the world the kingdom-based relationships that are succeeding outside what the world sees as a failure in the family structure. So we wanted to share the aspect of marriage in which is succeeding, not to the bad news in which the world keeps portraying to us. So that was the essence of Love and Bands. And so I said I was going to share about how I'm able to juggle all of this. To be honest with you, I find it difficult juggling all of this. It's one of the most difficult things I really find difficult doing. If I'm focusing on one thing at a time, I'll focus on one thing. In fact, one of my biggest challenges is when I focus on one thing for too long, I find I kind of forget that I have other things also. I have other projects, and there are still other projects that are still popping. Even yesterday when I was having a conversation with someone, ideas are still coming, and you're like, Even the ones that I have, I'm not even maximizing it though, and but the thing is, this is just my encouragement to you, and it's also an encouragement for me as well, is that whatever it is that is popping in your heart, whatever it is that is popping in your mind, just put it out there. Just do something about it. Don't the conditions might not be perfect, the time might not be there for you to do all of this, right? But just put it out there. Put it out there. It might be an idea for someone. Someone might also come your way and say, I want us to partner on this. I want to work with you on this. I want to do this with you. Like, I want to collaborate with you. People only collaborate with people that are doing something. So you must ensure that whenever you have an idea, just put it out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show the world, to express who you are, who you have been made to be. God made you for a purpose. He made you to express His essence on the earth. So I just want you that as you get those ideas, do something about it. Do something about it. The world needs us to shine the light. There's so much darkness, and the world needs the light of God. They need the light of God in the inside, in the world. The light of God is needed in the world. So by all means, if you have an idea, your idea could save a child, it could save a teenager, it could save a parent, it could save an auntie, it could save a sister, it could save a brother, it could save anybody. But just ensure that as those ideas come, make sure that you don't leave them hanging and closed like a lamb that is hidden on a bushel. And so I hope this has blessed you. I have an amazing time sharing this. I feel I've never shared this story with anyone. This is the first time. I'm just trying to open up myself, open up my heart, and I hope this is something that you can take with you, and that you need to implement those ideas, and you need to express everything that you are. Thank you very much for joining my channel once again. It's a pleasure sharing with you, and see you another time.